How's it going, guys? I'm your host, J Rods. Welcome to the What's Your Drive podcast. We're here with Mr. Scott at the Charlotte Auto Fair with his beautiful Corvette C7. Can you tell us a little bit about the car, Scott?
Absolutely. It's a 2019 Corvette ZR1, which many of you may know was the last front-engine Corvette ever made. I was medically retired in 2016. From 2016 until 2019, I lost 5 people to suicide. And I always knew that because I was medically retired that I wanted to do something to help because I felt like my mission wasn't over yet.
Right.
So when the guy that's on the nose cone here, he committed suicide in April of 2019, it hit me really hard. Our families were really close, and we spent all the holidays together when we were on active duty. So when I found out that he committed suicide, it hit me really hard. And at that point, I knew exactly what I needed to do and what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, at the time, all these cars were sold out, because they made less than 3,000 of them worldwide.
Right.
Because it was a one-year car. And it took me a month to find a car and then make arrangements to get down and pick it up. And during that month, every image that you see on here, I downloaded in one shape or another. And I had a stack of papers like this. And I flew down, picked up the car, and on my drive back, I interviewed over 30 airbrush artists all across the country on the phone.
It's kind of cool that you already knew that you were going to airbrush all these images on the car before even going to pick up the car. Before I ever picked up the car, before I even knew I was going to get approved, before any of that, I knew exactly what I was going to do with the car. And what inspired you to go the C7 route instead of like a Z06, Corvette or any other American muscle car?
There was a few reasons, but primarily because I knew it was going to be the last front-engine Corvette ever made. So I knew, because I started a nonprofit, because it is a company, I had to also be fiscally responsible.
Right.
So I knew that me making that purchase, it would hold its value. So fiscally speaking, from the company standpoint, I knew I was doing the right thing.
Right.
But also, when I took this car out, on my drive home from Georgia, I stopped at the gas station. The original color was black.
Uh-huh.
I stopped at the gas station to fill it up, and I spent an hour at the gas station talking to people just about the car.
That's awesome.
So I knew at that point that what I intended to do was going to work, especially once I had all the artwork and everything else done on it.
It's kind of cool that as soon as you bought the car, you got since you said you felt like you weren't finished yet with helping people, bringing awareness to I guess mental health, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
With this being that you stopped and then everybody affirmed it by coming to talk to you and wanting to have these conversations and probably ask you about the car and et cetera, that showed you that you were going in the right direction.
100%. There is not a car show, I don't care how big or how small, there is not a single car show that goes by that I don't get somebody come up to me, give me a hug, tell me their story, and say thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, that is really awesome. So how long did it take to get the airbrush and then the paint, at least the outside body work done? Because I'm assuming you also have some engine work done to it.
I just now recently got some engine work. In fact, we're sitting here right now, and there's still a whole lot that's going on with the car.
Right.
So it took me and a buddy about a month to do the paint prep and rip the car apart. I delivered all the parts to the airbrush artist, and then it spent 27 months in the paint booth.
Wow.
And then as he was finished with a part, me and that same buddy, we would go do the final cut and buff on the parts, and then it took a company a month and a half to put it all back together.
That is amazing. So do you do car work? Because you say you and your buddy went and did the buffing and polishing of the car. So tell me a little bit about that.
That's a pretty funny story as well. He had a little bit of experience with paint and body.
Uh-huh.
I had zero.
Oh, okay.
I had never done anything, and not too many people are stupid enough as I am to go buy a car like this and within 6 months start standing on it and ripping it apart.
That is a very, like, scary thing to do for anybody getting into, like, any project, especially something like this.
Correct. And he refused, even though he's the one that had the experience, it was kind of funny, he refused to make the first sandpaper swipe or refused to take the first part off. He left it up to me, and I'm like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. And, you know, when you take that first sandpaper and you swipe it across, you're like, oh, at least if I screw up on the sandpaper portion, I am going to have the car repainted so that can be fixed.
Right.
But when I start pulling those parts off and you hear all the cracks and the pops, and I'm like, ooh, was that just a $3,000 mistake that I made?
Well, luckily, the good thing about that happens when you get a new car like this is you don't have any rust yet. So, like, the panels and everything is so easy to come off, even though they put Loctite on some of the screws and nuts, you know, so, like, you're not fighting like a rusty bolt that you got to break your knuckles in order to get off.
Exactly.
So that's the good thing about it. So what made you decide to start a nonprofit and to help others in this situation?
Well, back to when I felt my mission was incomplete because I was medically retired, I didn't actually fulfill what I felt was my obligation. And once I started losing those people to suicide, I just knew that this was something that needed to be done. And when you go to car shows or car-related events, more often than not, the greater proportion of people at those events are veterans and first responders and that type of thing.
Right.
So when I decided to do this, when I'm on active duty, and it's not only for military, but also for first responders.
Right.
When they're in active service, they are more or less forced into monthly mental health and suicide awareness type training, right?
Oh, okay.
So in the civilian world, no one is ever forced into that type of education.
Okay, interesting.
So if I can take that education out into the general public, into the civilian sector, and I can educate one person, that's another set of eyes looking out for me,
right,
or looking out for a buddy of theirs, etc. So the more people that we can educate on that, on what the signs are and how to help and all those things, that's just helping everybody.
That is correct. That is. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for your service.
You're very welcome.
This is this is amazing to hear your story, hear the car, like what got you to do the paint and all the artwork on the car. Now, what I want to know is, were you originally a car guy before you decided to jump into this route? Like, how did you dive in so deep into this?
Both feet first, in the deep end, and can't swim. If I'm being honest, from the age of basically 16, I was always responsible.
Right.
Meaning, my first car, I bought on my own. I bought it from a little old lady. I bought a Honda because I wanted to be responsible, because I knew that, my summer jobs and all that, I needed something that was cost effective and fuel efficient, etc.
Yeah.
So I bought me a little Honda Civic from a little old lady that really, honestly, gave it to me for a steal.
That's
so
good.
From that point, I've always had somebody else in my life. I've always been married or had a significant other, and I was always responsible, and I had other priorities to take care of. When I got my second divorce, and I started losing all of those people, I'm like, I can finally do something for me.
Right.
And even though I don't necessarily do this for me, it is. It really is. So I jumped in both feet first and just started doing it.
I feel like when you go through dramatic events in your life, such as you have, like, you always want to find something to keep you motivated, keep you passionate, and also it keeps you grounded. And, with being that you lost some friends to suicide, like the car community, I feel like is very welcoming, especially when you're trying to spread positivity. And the way that you've done it is like above and beyond to try to showcase the positive that it is to be a car enthusiast.
Well, I appreciate that. So when I first decided that I was going to do suicide awareness,
Right.
I initially wasn't 100% sure how I wanted to do it.
Right.
But when I started doing the research and I started looking into it, so veterans and first responders, they have a tendency to gravitate to one of three different things, and that's usually something in the outdoors, hunting, fishing, etc.
Yeah.
Not really, I can't do anything with that per se. They gravitate towards drugs, alcohol, etc. I don't have the knowledge to be able to handle something like that. Or they gravitate to things that give them the adrenaline rush.
Yeah. Cars.
That's a pretty heck of an adrenaline
Sure
rush when
is.
you're on the road,
You're
right?
not lying about that.
So when I decided to do it with cars, I'm like, okay, now, is there anybody else out there doing it the way that I'm envisioning doing it?
Right.
And when I started looking into other nonprofits and that kind of thing, 100%, not a single company out there decided to do it with cars the way that I'm doing it. I did, however, find a few motorcycle clubs that do something similar.
Okay.
So I knew I was unique in that aspect.
So talking about clubs, do you have a car club that veterans and current military personnel like join your club in order to support and etc.?
I do not. Between me, you, and the fence post, and maybe everybody else that's watching, I do this pretty much on my own. Every now and again, I have great people that come out and help out. But for the most part, I started it on my own and through over time, because I really started in 2019.
Right.
But with COVID, I really didn't get started until 2021, and the car was still in the process of being fixed. So honestly, I really didn't get going until 2022.
Okay.
And it's pretty much been me and another guy, and then we kind of lost touch. So it's just been me, and the car's been up and down, and all those kinds of things.
So for anybody listening or watching, like, where can they, like, come support you in any way, shape, or form, you know, to support what you're doing?
Everything for us is Rides Against Suicide. So
Okay.
Rides Against Suicide on Facebook, ridesagainstsuicide.org. Our Instagram is Rides Against Suicide. Everything is attached is Rides Against Suicide.
And guys, for you guys listening and watching, everything that he just mentioned is going to be linked in the description below. One second. Everything is going to be linked in the description below, so please make sure you check him out. And if you want to support the suicide awareness and help him out, spread the message, please go check him out and support in any way you can.
I appreciate that, and thank you in advance.
I've had, like, my wife's family has had, unfortunately, like, people take their lives, and I, like, this is, like, it touches me personally. So, and it's hard not to get emotional. Like, my eyes just got watery, but yeah.
And I feel your pain, and I am sorry that you've had to go through that. So I told you initially that I had 5 people that committed suicide, and that's kind of what got me started. But even since then, I've lost more to suicide. And if I start crying, we'll edit that out, right? So 2 years ago, my brother committed suicide.
I'm so sorry.
And it was very difficult because the day before, I was on the phone with him, and I made plans because he lives in Tennessee, and I made plans to go visit him, and we were going to go have breakfast and hang out for the day. And that night, he committed suicide.
Oh my gosh!
And I had already been doing this for a few years, and we talked about the trauma and what it does to our families when we leave somebody behind and all those things. So it was very surprising when that happened.
Yeah, I could imagine it was a big shock. Even more so since you were already trying to spread the positivity of helping people overcome and hopefully not get to that extent in their life.
Correct.
So sorry.
If there is one thing that I can say to you and to everybody listening, it is simply this. If you see that somebody is struggling, don't be afraid to be blunt.
Right.
Come right out, ask the question. I don't care how you phrase the question, just ask the question. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Are you thinking about killing yourself? Are you thinking about doing self-harm? And they're going to be defensive, and they're going to be upset perhaps, and they may walk off. But here's the bottom line. When you pose the question to them exactly like that, it triggers their brain to say, well, holy smoke, I was thinking about that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and somebody
right?
cares
and
about
even
me.
if it helps for the next few hours, the next day. Have you ever heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a kid?
Yes.
It takes a bigger village to prevent somebody from jumping off the edge.
Correct.
Because if I come to you and I tell you and I ask you that question and I say, are you thinking about committing suicide? And that triggers you to step back from that ledge. Well, I need your brother to call you up a few hours after me and follow up. And I need his wife to call you up. I need all of them to call you up and just do follow-ups, just to let you know that people do care.
Yeah, that is so amazing, and it's unfortunately that some people don't have that, and I'm glad that you're doing this to spread the word out. My brother-in-law, he also does a nonprofit out of Columbia, South Carolina, because his best friend unfortunately took his own life. So like, this is like, very touchy subject with our side of the family because, it is a tragic thing and a lot of people don't talk about it enough.
100%. That is the other aspect of what I do here. And that is simply this. So it happens all the time. I get people coming up, they'll start talking about the car and why I put a piece of art on there or why I did this. And 9 times out of 10, when I start telling my story, people will open up and tell me their story.
Yeah.
And what I like to try to do is, if you're telling me your story, I'll ask your permission to put you on video, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I'll have my buddy videotape us in the background so that you and I can have our conversation and it on video, but it's not interrupting us. But you see us having that conversation and there's 20 people standing around
and listening. Yeah.
So if I can, when people are watching the video and they see you talking about such a taboo subject,
yeah,
or something so dramatic, and there's all those people around, well, I'm watching this video, why can't I go to my doctor or why can't I go to my best friend and have that same conversation? So it's about getting rid of that taboo nature associated with mental health.
Yeah, and people being scared to talk about what's really hurting them, and because there is help. If you're hurting, there is help. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit or a lot. There's somebody that's willing to listen and willing to give you any piece of advice and help you in any way, shape, or form.
100%. You're never alone. You may feel it, you may seem like it is, and everything may be going against you at this very moment. But tomorrow's another day.
It sure is.
And anytime you can wake up and put your feet on the floor, anything positive can happen. And it just takes one conversation, one event, one something. Don't take all of your pain, put it into a pill or a bullet. Put it into faith and put it into eventually things are going to turn around.
Right.
But don't take all of that pain that you're feeling and put it on those people that truly do love you and care about you.
Right, because it leaves a whole lot of hurt behind for everybody that always has care about you.
Absolutely.
Not to change the subject, I do want to know, what have you done to the engine of the car, because it looks insane.
So I just recently had a lithium battery explode in the car, and
What?
it caught the car on fire.
Really?
I was on my way to a show in June of 23, and the lithium battery exploded. And it didn't do any real physical damage because of the way I designed the battery box for that battery.
Yeah.
But it was a hazmat situation. So the car was sealed up for 4 months. And then all the electronics were just fried.
Oh, no.
So over these last 2 years, it's just been one diagnostic after another. We've ended up replacing 5 different control modules all the way up to the ECU.
Wow.
So as the process went on and it became longer and longer and longer, I'm a guy who hates to sit still.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I get the car back the exact same way that it was when it went down, I just stood pat for 2 years.
Right.
So I just said, any of the external modifications that we can do that are simple, I don't have to take the engine apart to do it, let's do it. So honestly, over these last 2 years, I've added what they call an inner chiller, so it keeps the engine much colder. It uses the car's AC system. I've changed out the pulleys. I've added an intake. I'm getting ready to get a tune on it.
Oh, okay.
From the factory, it comes at 755 at the crank.
Okay.
With all the modifications that I've ultimately done so far, once the tune gets in there, we're probably sitting somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 at the wheel.
Wow. That is going to be lovely. Scary, but lovely.
I am scared to drive it initially until I learn it. I'll never use 1,000 horsepower, but maybe they'll open up the track out here and let me use it.
So the cool thing about it here is that, they host Cars and Coffee like once a month.
Yep.
And then during like around Christmas time, I don't know if they do it all year round, but if you pay like $25, you could come do like victory laps around the whole circuit. So I've done that a couple years.
Nice.
And it's I thought the driver instructor lady was gonna drive slow, but no, we're going around here like 130 plus. She's just like zooming around the whole track.
130? I'm still in third gear.
But if you're smart and you let her like speed up and go around, then you could pick up some speed. The only thing she tells us is like, hey, don't go, because it's during winter. She says, do not go near like the top because it's slick. Because it's so cold.
Right.
So stay like further down where the sun is kind of hitting the track.
Stay mid-track and below.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. Any other future plans you got for the car?
Well, right now, there's still a lot of issues with all the mods and just everything communicating together. The next step... Sorry about that.
It's okay.
The next step is the interior. I've really done nothing to the interior at this moment, with the exception of, and you probably can't see it on your cameras.
I'll try to, but once we finish speaking, I'll bring my other camera out and get some like B-roll is what they call it, or just like shoot the car, so I can have some footage so people can see what we're talking about.
So there's a little tripod looking thing on the center back on the roof outside. Because I've got the vinyl on the back window, I had no rear view mirror at that point.
Oh, okay.
So what I did is I found an aftermarket company that would custom make me a housing, and I've added a camera.
Like a rear view mirror
like
camera.
Like a rear view mirror camera, like they have in NASCAR today.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I added that years ago.
Okay.
And that's about the only thing I've done on the interior.
You guys are good. You guys are fine. It's okay.
Hey, it makes us look busy.
Yeah. Hey, you're okay. But yeah, so you said now you want to do more interior. I find it always like interesting the route that people go to build their car, because 90% of the time you spend your car like you spend inside the car. And then, like, you would think, like, since I'm in here, this is all I see all the time. Like, let me mod the interior first. But no, we're the opposite. We go mod the outside so everybody can see the car. And then the interior is like the last thing we touch.
Well, technically speaking, I did everything related to this car ass backwards. And I say that simply this. Most people do the engine mods first.
Yes.
Then they'll do interior, and then they'll do exterior.
Yep.
Well, from a company standpoint and from a nonprofit standpoint, I can't do my mission with engine modifications.
It's not showcasing it.
Correct. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's another car with engine modifications.
Yeah.
But doing it the way that I did it and had the exterior done first, now I can go do what I do and everything else can come later.
That's right. So what other shows are you planning to take the car throughout the year?
Well, I know there is a charity event in downtown Charlotte on May 1st, and I've been asked to come out and help them raise some funding. Right off the top of my head, I cannot think of the name of that event. I can look it up on my phone.
Okay.
And we can post that, what's coming up. But basically it's a charity dinner to raise funds for mental health.
Okay.
And they've asked me to bring the car out and go to dinner and help raise some funds. Beyond that, because of the status of the car and still getting some work done, I haven't really planned my schedule yet.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for bringing it out, and it's a beautiful car. And thank you for, spreading your message and doing everything you do. Thank you for your service. Thank you again for spreading awareness of mental health, because it's very needed nowadays, and it's just such a beautiful car. I can't even praise you enough that you're doing so much. It's such a cool thing.
I appreciate that.
And I'm sorry for the loss on your family and your friends.
Thank you.
So thank you again for sharing your story, and it's been a pleasure meeting you. Again, everybody, his information is going to be in the description below. So please give him a follow, go check him out, donate if you want to donate. Hit him up if you're feeling in any shape or form that you need to talk to somebody. Scott is open. You can always contact me on social media. I'm willing to talk with anybody that wants to have a conversation. So we just got to stay positive and make sure that, you spread the message so everybody could be healthy.
Absolutely. People drive me crazy in that, they always come up to me and say, you can't give your phone number out. I'm like, why can't I?
Yeah.
If I'm willing to somebody in California to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to discuss their issues or I can help somebody, by all means, call me.
Right.
I don't care about giving out my phone number. I don't care what time of day it is. If somebody's struggling and I can help, by all means, I'm here to help.
You guys heard it here first. So, Scott, again, thank you. Beautiful car, and thank you for having the time to have this conversation and spreading the message. Yeah, I'm your host, J-Rods, and this is What's Your Drive. Take care until the next one.